Hello and welcome. It's another Watch It Played question and answer video where I, with a lot of your help, try to answer all of the internet's burning board game questions. The first question I have was more of a statement. It's 2023. It's okay if rulebooks are just available online. Hard disagree with that. Hard disagree. Look, if I get a game and it doesn't have a rulebook in it, then I consider that game to be missing a component. For the main component that makes the game unplayable. Online rulebooks are fantastic. I use them all the time. They're really great reference material and often they are updatable. That's the coolest thing about online rulebooks, is that when rules things come up or changes happen or mistakes are found, online rulebooks are there to be changed and are living documents. Really valuable resource for us board game enthusiasts. But not all games are going to require that. I'd argue most games wouldn't. And without a rulebook in the game? What? What are you thinking? No, put a rulebook in my game. Look, there's a few reasons why I really believe in physical rulebooks. Mainly because I learn games really well from sitting down and reading a rulebook, reading the book. And I do that way better with something in my hand than reading something off the screen. I just do. And I think a lot of people are like that. The other thing is, we're playing board games to not be, a lot of us, I am playing board games to not be online or doing anything involving the internet. And yeah, you can get the rulebook online, download it, print it yourself, but shouldn't that come in the game? With the game? I feel like it should. I don't think that's unreasonable to ask. There's quite a few extra parts to this though that I think need addressing, and that is not every company in the world is going to be here in 50 years. And I know this is an outlying case, I suppose. But when I get that game and look for that rule book from a QR code, which no one's used in 35 years, and try to find this PDF floating around an internet server that's been dead for 20 years. Things happen to companies where things don't exist anymore. I'm a big fan of board game apps, but we certainly have had board games where the app has gone away and so has the ability to play the game. And I just don't want to run that risk with rulebooks. I want my nieces and nephews in 20 years to be able to pick up one of these games and just play it from the box without having this big barrier to go through of hunting down a rulebook, not knowing where to go. I think rulebooks are a component of the game. They're the component of the game that tell you what the other components of the game are. But I do appreciate, if you've got this massive card game, with 1,000 million cards and new sets coming out and new ways that things interact, a lot of back engineering has to go into it, where this new set means that these cards now act in this way, not the way that they originally acted. Yeah, a living rule book is great, but should be, I believe, an addition to a paper rule book that already exists. I would feel shortchanged if the game I bought had, instead of a rulebook, just a QR code and nothing else. The next question is, am I the only one who thinks filler game is a bit of an insult to great small games? I've heard this before, that filler games, the phrase filler games, is insulting to what are fantastic games because it doesn't feel that it's a full game or a real game in some way. That because it's a short, sweet, fantastic little game. Even saying a little game is a little bit insulting, I suppose. I can see that. But just because it's a filler game, that's an insult because it puts it against non-filler games. And I kind of don't think that. But that's because my mindset is where if I see, oh, this is a fantastic filler game, I get really excited because I'm like, oh, they're my favorite types of games. A lot of my favorite games are filler games. There's a YouTuber called Adam in Wales who I watch a lot and I think his content is absolutely fantastic. And he's just done a top 100 filler games. And I tell you, I loved it. It's really good, and I've been recommending it to as many people as possible. I think this idea that filler game is insulting, I do understand. If you're the designer of a game, you put your heart and world and all your resources into making this game, and then it's in some ways renegated to the world of filler games and not full games, I can see that as feeling not good. But I really think it's the onus on who is saying it and what you mean by it. When I hear filler game, I think that could be a great game that I'm interested in. A game that does all the things I want it to do. Often a game that is innovative because it does it in a short space of time and it's a new idea in a small box. I think that's what we get from a lot of great filler games. I feel like there is a chance that filler game is just an insult if you kind of mean it as an insult. To me, there's nothing greater than a brilliant filler game, so I like the phrase. What about you though? Do you think filler game means something derogatory, not a full real game? Something bad? Let me know. And the last question is, hey, what's everyone's most anticipated games of 2023? Of course, it's the start of the year, so all the games that existed before, they're gone. They're gone now. Garbage. All we want is new games. New games. What's coming out? What are you excited for? That's how we live day to day in this hobby. I do find these lists quite fun and interesting, and I do appreciate content creators and people in general, obviously, who go back and talk about what they were really excited about at the start of the year compared to what they actually found exciting at the end of the year. There's so many things go into it, right? It's the start of the year. We don't know what games are even coming out. We have this big run up to Gen Con and the biggest run up to Essen, where so many massive games come out, shock surprises that we had no idea were coming. So all these lists I really feel come with that proviso, right? That idea that so far, from what I know from my very limited information, these are the games that without having played them or knowing much about them, look the most exciting to me. So of course I have made a list. So here are my 10 most anticipated games so far of 2023. Will I end up loving these games? Only time will tell. And of course, because there's not much known about them, there's not that much information to talk about. So it's going to be a brief summary of them, I think. The first one is called Circles. I'm pulling these up as we talk about them. It's by Thomas Singh, who, the reason I'm the most excited about this was two reasons. The first is Thomas Singh is the designer of The Crew, which is my favourite game of all time. And also this game from Hook is a roulette mechanism in a game where you have to roll a ball and it's roulette a little bit, but it looks like it could be a Euro. Circles features a double-sided game board with both games being driven by the same game action mechanism. A player rolling a ball in a felt-covered exterior ring on the track. That is exciting to me. I really think this is going to be fun. I hope, but I know nothing about it really. It's 2 games in one. I suppose they were like, you can come up with a roulette game, but we're not going to let you release 2 roulette games without trying it out. The next game is Earth, which is from Inside Up Games. Earth looks like this beautiful game of hand management and card playing combo, fantastic fun. That's kind of what this game looks like. And I'm excited about this, an open world builder engine for 1 to 5 players with simple rules and tons of strategic possibilities. That's exciting to me. I love card combos. This one looks like it could be a lot of fun. And with last year's Draft and Write records that they released, they're a company I look out for a bit more, which is why I'm excited about it. These aren't, by the way, in any order. They're just 10 games I'm excited about. And the next one is The White Castle. And the reason I'm excited about this is because it's from Devere Games. It looks absolutely beautiful. And of course, it's the sequel to The Red Cathedral, which is a game that I just love so much. It's a Japanese themed new version, new sequel, spiritual successor to The Red Cathedral with dice as another driving mechanism of the game, and it's an absolute must buy, must try, gotta get it kind of game. The next one is Last Light from Grey Fox Games, from Roy Cannaday of the Dice Tower, who's a very good person and a friend of mine, so know that going in. But Last Light is just, I've heard nothing but good things from people who have play tested it, and the thing that makes me excited about it is this tagline: a fast-paced 4X game with 3D planets and a rotating board. I mean, that sounds pretty exciting to me. Sounds good, and it's that fast paced 4X game that I'm excited about. That idea of getting all that fun of a 4X game experience that normally takes a long time into a small time frame. It's a big box, very lovely production it looks like, so that's one I've definitely got to play this year. The next one is called Skyrise from Roxy Games, which is actually the reprinting of a game called Metropolis, which is a Sebastian Pouchon game. There's an old line of Istari games, they're the Y series of games essentially, they've got a Y in the title. There's a game called Amethyst, Ispahan, those games. If I was a board game publisher, that is the line of games I would have reprinted and made and beautified. They certainly did need beautifying, and that's what Roxy have done with Skyrise. That's the reason I'm excited about this. It's one of the series I've never got to play. It's one I've always wanted to try. It looks very exciting. It's got these towers that you're kind of building up and putting around and auctioning and area majoritying with them. And I'm very excited about this one. So yeah, Skyrise. It looks like it could be a really good new version of the game I've always wanted to get played. The next is from Cosmos. It's called Inside Job. It's a trick-taking and social deduction type of game, which has been done before with Shamans, but it's a game where essentially you are trick-taking in much the same way as the crew does. You've got different missions each time. However, there's also a traitor. There's also a traitor, which is how the crew feels to play anyway. You always feel like someone is being a traitor because they're not going quite the way you thought it was going to go. Inside Job looks right up my street. Cosmos, trick-taking. What more could I ask for from a game, personally? So, got to get that one. The next game I'm excited for is Dice Manor from Arcane Wonders. I know little about this game other than it's a building game. You're building these houses and you're using dice to do that. I think you use the dice to bid. It just really tantalizes me. That's basically all I've got going on this one. It looks like a good family weight dice building game, and that excites me. It looks interesting, and I trust Arcane Wonders to do good stuff, so it just looks very inviting. The box cover's very beautiful and vibrant and nice. It looks like something I would like, so I really want to play it. Of course, Cosmos is being named again because My Island is coming from Reiner Knizia, which is the sequel to My City. Now, I love My City. I love My City, the roll and write, much more. I think that's a superior game. But I'm really excited about My Island because it's more My City style games. It's kind of bingo style island building game where you're using tiles and trying to do things before other people can do them to score lots of points in a lightweight legacy game. And I want more of that. And I hope that My Island, the roll and write, is also a thing. It better be. So I'm really excited about My Island. How could I not be? Next, we have Philosophy. Now, Philosophy is a game that I've really felt like I really wanted to champion when it was on Kickstarter, which is not normally something I do, but it's an abstract strategy game that I think might be one of my favourite games. I think it could be like a top 20 game for me, Philosophy. And of course, I've played it a bunch. It's a game where you put a tile down and the action, that tile affects the rest of the board and you're trying to get 3 in a row. But it's absolutely wonderful. I just think it's a profoundly fantastic game. And the reason I'm looking forward to it being released this year. So I definitely want to be picking up a copy of that when it's available. Philosophy is a game I cannot say enough good things about. And the final game that I'm looking forward to next year, although there's lots probably that we don't even know about, is called El Burro. El Burro is a La Granja game. Now, I love the game La Granja. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's a great multi-use card farming game that I really just feel its bucolic nature is what I really like about it. It's why I like viticulture, but it makes me enjoy the heaviness of that game, and it really is a fantastic game. Now, El Burro, the reason I'm excited about it is because it firstly plays 1 to 4 players, but also it's just a new game in that world that also uses dice drafting, also uses multi-use cards. I'm very hopefully positive about this one, and I think it might be the first Spielberg's game that I actually really hunt down to purchase. So that's my top 10 games that I'm looking forward to in 2023. What are the games that you're looking forward to in 2023? That's what I really want to know. Let me know below so I can peruse and add games to the list that I want. If you've got any questions that you would like answered, or any questions that you've witnessed happening before you today that you would like to answer yourselves, put all that in the comments below as well. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.